In this video, I'm going to be ranking the best power forwards right now in NBA 2K25 My Team on a tier list here, ranking from S that does go down to D tier, and we have about 30-ish of the best power forward cards right now in this game. But I want you guys to let me know in the comment section down below, heading into Season 6, what power forward cards you guys currently rocking on your squad, and of course, let me know what you guys would change about my tier list. But looking at the first power forward is going to be Dark Matter D-Rob, and I think he's the easiest S tier decision we can make. I mean, he is one of the best power forwards in this entire game. He's 7'1" at the power forward position, 7'5" wingspan. It's a Dark Matter D-Rob card. I feel like every single year he gets a Dark Matter that is seriously one of the best cards in this entire game. He's got a 99 block, 99 interior defense, also having that 92 steal, 96 perimeter, really insanely good Hall of Fame defensive badges. And this one definitely comes down to preference, but I always really like D-Rob jump shots. Now, I know some people will say that a flaw with this card is his jump shot, and it's not all that amazing, but I do really like Dark Matter D-Rob's release, and I think he is a top 5 power forward in this game 1000%, and it's going to be an S tier power forward. Now, talking about Tim Duncan, the Galaxy Opal, I am recording this video before we get the actual news for Season 6 of who the level 40 is going to be, the pro pass, all the type of stuff. And as I'm recording, I know about the leaks that did drop last night, and it is probably confirmed that by now you guys will probably have seen that it's confirmed that 100 overall Tim Duncan is the level 40. I'm going to be ranking his Galaxy Opal here on this tier list, who I think is not a bad power forward card, but just wanted to mention that I have seen the leaks. But as I'm recording this video, the actual news hasn't dropped yet, like confirmed by 2K. So it's a little bit weird, but anyways, Galaxy Opal Tim Duncan on this tier list, I do think is going to be in that C tier category. He's not the worst power forward on this tier list, but he is obviously nowhere near the best power forwards on this tier list. I think Joakim Noah is an easy A tier guy. He is really good at the power forward position, and I'm talking just without the boost, like without the duo. If you have the duo on this card, he's going to get, I think it's 8 more Hall of Fame badges, added to him if you run the dynamic duo with Corey Brewer, which I would recommend for a majority of the player bases. If you're going to use Galaxy Opal Joakim Noah, just use Corey Brewer as well, because he becomes a top tier Dark Matter shooting guard. He's 6'9" at the shooting guard position. He's got great stats and badges. So if you want to run Joakim Noah, I'd also recommend running Corey Brewer, because then you're going to get 8 more Hall of Fame badges, turn Joakim Noah into a Dark Matter, and give him some extra stats as well. The only flaw about this card is a little bit low of a 3-ball, only an 84, but he's got a good enough jump shot that I don't think it really matters too much, and I seriously believe Joakim Noah is one of the better power forwards in this entire game. I got him at the A tier category. Now, Dark Matter Kareem, another easy S tier option. Now, whether you want to go Kareem or D-Rob ahead of each other, it is such a close debate at the power forward position. I personally prefer D-Rob just slightly over Kareem, but both of those cards are insanely good at the power forward position. I think are both easily going to be an S tier power forward. Talking about Chris Bosh, he's probably in that same C tier ranking as Tim Duncan. Like, he's not a bad power forward card, but he's also not like insanely good. He's 6'11" at power forward, 7'3" wingspan. The thing about this card is like 78 block and a power forward at this time of the year. We're in April now, we're going into Season 6, we're gonna be getting all of these crazy free, maybe not crazy free, but all these crazy cards every single Friday. Jump shot always only on normal timing. So I do think Chris Bosh is usable. I think he's serviceable at the power forward position, but I do think he's probably going to be in that C tier category. Now, Vlade Divac, he is really good. I think he's probably A tier as well. I think Joakim Noah is better at power forward, but Vlade Divac is still really good. He's 7'1". I would probably recommend running this card at center if you guys do have him, but if you wanted to play him at power forward, you definitely could. I just think 85 speed, and he feels like a little bit slow at the power forward position, but he's still a very good defensive card. He's got a good jump shot on very quick timing. He's got great inside presence. I mean, if you want to run Vlade Divac at power forward, you definitely could. I would just probably recommend running that card at the center position. Talking about Pink Diamond James Wiseman, I think he's that like B tier guy in the middle of like Tim Duncan and Joakim Noah. I think he's better than these two power forwards like Chris Bosh and Tim Duncan, but I don't think he's anywhere near as good as a Joakim Noah or Vlade Divac. He's just a solid budget power forward in my personal opinion. Like, he's 6'11" at the power forward position, 7'3" wingspan. He's going to be a great defender, 95 block, 95 interior defense, has Hall of Fame brick wall, paint patroller, post lockdown, rebound chaser, amazing on the defensive end. And I do like his jump shot. It can be a little bit tricky to learn at first, but I feel like once you get that release down, once you get his jump shot down, I feel like you can be super consistent with his release. He's a great defensive card, has an amazing player model. He looks more so like 7 foot or 7'1". At power forward, he doesn't look, only 6'11". He does have a bigger player model to make him look taller, like cards like Chet, do as well. But I do think James Wiseman all around is a B tier power forward card. Jaren Jackson Jr., he's dropped down in the rankings quite a bit, but I still think he's probably an A tier power forward. He's definitely not in B tier, but I just don't know if you can put Triple J in S. Like, he's still really good at the power forward position. I still think he's one of the better power forwards in this game, but I do think there's going to be like 5 or 6 cards, maybe even more, that are better than Triple J. Talking about Pink Diamond Color Wear, as much as I want to put him in S tier because he is really, really good for his price and is seriously one of the best cards in this entire game for his price tag, I just don't know if you can put him in the S tier category. There's so many great power forwards in this game, and Color Wear is great. Like, an A tier power forward for 30k is really good value. He's 7 foot at the power forward position, 7'5" wingspan, great defensive card. He's another card just like James Wiseman that does look a little bit taller in game because of their player model and kind of their afros as well. Their hair does add some extra height to them in game. So Color Wear, I do think, is one of the better power forwards again for his price. I do think he's going to be in that A tier category. I think Jokic is probably still a C tier power forward card. I don't know if you can go D tier for Jokic. Like, he still has good offensive ability, but I don't really like his jump shot. I don't really like his dribble sigs, but I still think he's probably a C tier power forward. Now, Dark Matter Joel Embiid, again, that's the card that I think is probably in the S tier category over a card like Jaren Jackson Jr. or Kalel Ware or Joakim Noah. You know, whatever card you might think is an S tier. Joel Embiid, in my personal opinion, is better than all of the cards in the A tier category. He is still such a good power forward. 7 foot with a 7'5" wingspan, extremely good inside defender, can also kind of switch out onto the perimeter, which is nice. And he's got a great jump shot, really good jump shot on very quick. It's a fast release. He's got like 90 speed, 93 agility, so he's a quick power forward card, you know, compared to like a Vlade Divac or even a Kalel Ware, who aren't extremely fast. I mean, Kalel Ware I think's actually got pretty good speed, especially for a pink diamond. Yeah, he's at 89 speed, so he's close to Joel Embiid. This Kalel Ware card is really insane, but I do think Joel Embiid with that size and that strength over a card like Kalel Ware, I do think is going to be in that S tier category. Now, talking about DeMarcus Cousins, probably our first D tier card. Really just not a big fan of, DeMar DeRozan isn't great either, but talking about Galaxy Opal DeMarcus Cousins, not a huge fan of this card. He does have a really good player model and a really tall wingspan. Like, 7'6" wingspan is really valuable to have. I'll give you that for sure, but that defense just really isn't great. 84 block, 79 steals, 78 perimeter, 88 interior defense. He's just not a great defensive card, but I think even maybe more so, I'm just not a huge fan of his jump shot. He doesn't have very many good dribble sigs besides the Darius Garland escape, and overall I think this card is probably worse than a Nikola Jokic, Chris Bosh, and Tim Duncan. Dwight Howard, I think just because of his defense, is still probably C tier. I would rather run Dwight Howard. I would rather run Dwight Howard over DeMarcus Cousins just because of the defense he does provide you, being still a very good defensive card. 98 block, 92 steal, 90 perimeter, 97 interior defense. Sure, he's got a low three-pointer. Sure, maybe he doesn't have the best jump shot, but that's speed and athleticism as well at power forward. Like 95 speed, 94 agility, 98 vert, 98 strength, like a crazy inside finisher, really good defensive card, great slasher going to the rim, like he can drive and dunk as well. I mean, this card, if he had a better jump shot, if he gets a higher 3-ball and like a Dark Matter card, which I think we could be seeing soon, I would not be surprised to see a Dark Matter Dwight Howard over the next couple weeks, and he could definitely be considered one of the better power forwards in this game. But I think for his Galaxy Opal is going to be in that C tier category. Now, Giannis is tricky because I wanted to include Giannis on this list because I think you can also play him at power forward. I think he's probably an S tier power forward. He's a lot better at small forward, so if you guys have this card, I would just recommend running him at the small forward position. But I do think Dark Matter Giannis is still probably an S tier power forward card. Looking at Dirk Nowitzki, I mean, for me, he's probably D tier. I just don't like this card's jump shot. I know he's 7 foot at power forward, 7'4" wingspan, but he's okay defensively. He's okay speed-wise. I just don't like this release. I don't like his dribble sigs. Honestly, I would take like Tim Duncan, Jokic, Dwight, all of these cards over Dirk. So I do think he's going to be in the D tier category. Also, alongside the Galaxy Opal Evan Mobley, this card's jump shot is just extremely slow. I feel like it's very hard to hit with this card wide open, and I think Evan Mobley can be good maybe when he gets a Dark Matter, faster jump shot, or a different release, but I think Evan Mobley honestly is going to be in that D tier category. Now, Kevin Garnett, for me, I know I get a lot of hate for saying that this card's bad, and I don't think he's necessarily a bad card, but when I was opening those boxes, I'm hoping for like a Dark Matter like D-Rob, I'm hoping for like a Dark Matter Josh Smith or LeBron or Giannis, and I got Kevin Garnett, who's not a bad card. Like, he's great defensively. You know, his jump shot's a little bit inconsistent, but it's a little bit on the slower side. It's not bad. Like, he's still a good card. Like, I still think he's a B tier power forward. Maybe you could argue A tier, but it's just like, I don't think he's great for pulling a Dark Matter from one of those, you know, Hall of Fame boxes, but I still think for a power forward, I do think Kevin Garnett's going to be in that B tier category. Anthony Davis, I think, is also B. He's a little bit undersized, only being 6'10", but he's still a good defensive card. I still think he gets great animations, but again, really hoping we get a Dark Matter AD as soon as possible. I think Yi is probably in that B tier category as well. Maybe you could argue in the A tier category, but I think that lack of defense, right? Like 91 block is cool, but like 88 steals okay, 85 perimeter, 89 interior defense, you know, again, a little bit on the slower side. Jump shots only on normal timing. I think Yi is a good power forward card, but I do think there's, you know, every single power forward so far in the A tier category, I do think is better than Yi. Talking about Dark Matter Hakeem, if you haven't Embiid in there, you got to put Hakeem. They're pretty much the exact same card at the power forward position, both insanely good defenders. I think Hakeem's got a better dribbling animation package, but I think Embiid's got the better jump shot, but definitely very comparable at the power forward position. Talking about Sabonis, I've heard like mixed reviews about this card, and I haven't really used him too much yet, but like 6'10" at power forward, 7'3" wingspan. I'm just very concerned about the defense. I do think he's got a pretty good jump shot on very quick. I think for me personally, he's probably going to be in that C tier category. Talking about Bol, I'll just give him B tier because he is 7'3". I know this card is kind of like overhyped and kind of, you know, maybe not as good as Bol cards we've seen in the past. You know, his speed and his defense isn't great, but he's 7'3" at the power forward position with a 7'7" wingspan. You can get really glitchy with this card, and honestly, I would probably take Bol over every single power forward in that C tier category. Now, Bob McAdoo, I think you kind of have to put an A. He is still very good at the power forward position. He's a great defender. He's quick. He's got a good jump shot. He's maybe just a little bit undersized at power forward, you know, towards the end of season 5, as he was amazing at the start of season 5, but we got a lot of taller power forwards and a lot of elite power forwards in this game since he has dropped. But I think Bob McAdoo is still probably an A tier power forward. 100 overall Shaq. We all know where he's going. He's going in that S tier category. I still think the best power forward in the game, but obviously he's ridiculously expensive and pretty much unobtainable for 99.9% of this player base. But I do think 100 overall Shaq is still the best power forward in my team. Talking about Dark Matter Cat, to me, I just think he's on that same tier as Jokic. I always kind of just compare the cards as maybe solid offensive cards, but really don't give you much defense and really aren't that insane at the power forward position. I think Sengun is probably also C tier. He's a solid power forward card, but nothing ridiculous. I think Vucevic is probably B tier. I think he's like that step down from like a Vlade Divac or a Bob McAdoo, but maybe like a little bit better than like an Anthony Davis. You know, I think he's probably kind of up there towards the better half of the B tier category. Talking about Dark Matter Chet, I think easily going to be an S tier. I think he's the 5th best power forward in this game. He's a great defender. He blocks shots like crazy. He has a good jump shot, and I do think his player model is ridiculous. He looks like 7'2" or 7'3" in game. I think Chet's going to be an easy S tier. I think another easy S tier has to be 100 overall Kristaps, and I know I have a lot of cards in S, but I feel like all of these cards kind of deserve, you know, to be in the S tier category because they are all some of the best power forwards in the game. And then the last power forward, just going to put Pascal Siakam in the D tier category. He's undersized, wish he could play small forward. When he gets his Dark Matter card, he might actually be a pretty good small forward. But yeah, guys, that's going to be my power forward tier list. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys would change about it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.